Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Some women like weird and creepy. Some women like weird and creepy. Before I get into it more, let me be very clear. This ain't saying, oh, try to be weird and creepy. This is just a perspective on why a woman might look at you and see you like a good guy, got it going on. Shoot, let the barber bless you, been called handsome, been listening to the body game videos, and she still don't want you. This is just a perspective because a lot of guys will ask this question. And this ain't going in on women, this is just stating a reality. But some women like weird and creepy. And I'm saying that in the sense of, don't try to be that. If you're not considered weird or creepy, you're blessed. Focus on the women who like a man who brings what you bring. But you still got to understand, all of them still ain't going, I don't care how good you are, how good a person, how physically strong, shit. They just not turned on by you. Some women are turned on by weird and creepy. That's just it. Now, they ain't going to go announce it. And as far as I know, there's no pages or channels that talk about it. It probably is. I just don't know about it. But you get some women, they get in, they will like the creepiest type of man. Some dudes, you just be like, him? And you ain't like you even competing, but you thinking, wait a minute, especially if it's a woman that you know you would be right for, because you lusting her and all that, and she good. And in fact, usually when you see this, it's with a woman like you just cool with. How many men have been cool with some type of woman, just cool? In fact, she could probably be your cousin, your sister or something. But the guy she like, you just be like, what? Now, a big part of it is her imprint. And let me explain the imprint, because a lot of guys think the imprint is just one man. No, her imprint is the combination of the first 2 or 3 men she slept with. Combination is never a specific man. You get some guys thinking they imprinted the woman, and I always ask them, were you in her first 3? And they say, no, you didn't imprint her. Best you did was maybe satisfy. And it takes a lot to imprint it, to actually even match a woman's imprint, let alone like override it. Let me be clear on that. But usually you don't know who she dealt with when she first started having sex. Because let me use the swan example. The swan is that type of woman who was maybe an ugly duckling. They weren't all that. They were nerdy, growing up, a teenager. They could have been overweight, underweight, whatever. But then they still, they grow up and they find, you don't know what they look like when they were a teenager and who they might have hooked up with. And then you don't know what the circumstances were. They could have got with that guy who was slightly off. See, one unfortunate thing with some of those guys who are slightly off, they might still have something that turns on a woman sexually. And you don't know what it is because you don't know what the woman, her circumstances. And there's another part of that I'll get into in a second. So they will just, they turned on by. So that's the imprint. But another thing is, she could have some mental health issues. And this ain't to say go in on the women and some guys say, well, all women do. You haven't met all women. This is a serious thing. There's a lot of women out there, they are functionally mentally ill. They are functionally. When I say functional, and I learned this when I worked at the Department of Justice Disability Rights section, there are people, period, who are mentally ill, got some mental issues, but they are functional enough to work on a particular job. They are functional enough. And there's a lot of jobs that have that. They functional enough to get through the day and everything, even though they have some clinical mental health issue. Women like that, there's a tendency to get along with the type of guy who can relate to them. Because let's be real, because a lot of men will talk trash about a woman who might show a mental illness. Okay, say that guy is functional, very functional. He's mentally functional, got everything going on. that mentally ill woman, that woman, she know what she got. She knows she got serious schizophrenia or something else. She knows this guy might not deal with her, but she knows the one who might come off as weird or creepy probably will. In fact, they might have some things in common. It happens. Because understand, ultimately, who a woman chooses is a reflection of what she got going on inside of her. Like, you get a lot of guys complaining about women choosing quote unquote thugs in the black community, Pookie and Ray Ray. That's just a reflection of what's in them. In fact, guys, even on a larger level, I can always tell what someone has inside of them and something about their personality by who they find attractive, who they mate with. That's a sure sign of what's inside of a person, because people are ultimately selfish when it comes to choosing a mate. That's the most selfish act that you can do in choosing a mate. So whoever someone finds attractive is a reflection. So when you see those women who like weird, they like creepy, they'll like that type of guy who sensible women will stay away from, who sensible men will protect their cousins from. That's something within them. There's always something within them. And one thing about that, like I said, and I'm gonna reiterate this, don't pretend to be. If that's not you, don't pretend to be. And in fact, be happy if you run into that type of woman, she reject you. Let me touch on that real quick. A lot of guys get upset at a woman rejecting them. You don't know what's going on with her. There's been plenty of times I run into, I'll be rejected by a woman, but I'm in the same social circle to kind of observe it. Then you find out she has some serious problems. I'm like, shh. So understand that. Understand that when you see a woman getting with a guy who's off. Now, I understand you're going to be personally concerned if that's a relative. Indeed, in some cases, I've seen I know of at least one case. Hopefully, it's been resolved, where a young man was concerned about his mother getting with a crazy dude. The dude was crazy. Hey, this ain't crazy in a ha-ha way either, like Joker crazy. I hope she got away from him, but it was something within her that found that man attractive. And see, the thing is, just you got to understand that, and just understand when you see that, but understand something else, because there's even a bigger picture with it. All women don't go for the same type of guy. Don't assume, like some guys might see a very attractive woman, go for that guy. Well, that's her. The next attractive woman is probably looking for you. There's some attractive women out here. They want that good man, legitimately good man. You know? Because it reflects what's inside of them. And so you got to stick with that. You got to say, look, and you can't just worry about who you are and the woman that fits into what reflects inside of you. See, that's another thing with this. You can't worry about whatever. If a woman wants somebody, there's something inside her. If she wants somebody crazy, she wants somebody weird, creepy, even dangerous or something, there's something inside of her. And that's something she needs. That's not your issue. That's not your issue to deal with. You can't take it personally. And also, don't be on a Captain Save-A-Ho thing or, trying to save her or something. You're being selfish. The woman letting you know you're not for her. And that's very important. That's very important. And I'm gonna say it a third time. Don't try to be that way, because you see sometimes some men will see some men winning and say, well, I can be that way. No, that's not you. You be the best version of you. And be thankful that woman isn't on you. Because I'll give you an example. If a woman wants someone weird, creepy, manipulative, just a bad actor, bad person, and you're a good person, or you find out the hard way you might have married that woman, had children with her and stuff, you just need to pull back. Get a good attorney for custody and just pull back. That's serious. Now, let me say this, because I know some guys will say, that's all women and stuff. You got to ask if that's all the women you dealing with and they bad, they want this, then you got to look at yourself and say, well, how come I keep running into these type of women? Always understand that, all right? So anyway, that's all we got for now. get back with you. Let me turn this joint off. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.